This video won't just be another general motivational video like every other video in this space. This will be a practical, no BS guide how you can quit your doom scrolling social media addiction and make your life really awesome at the same time. I remember in 2020 or in 2021, during the lockdown, I just had nothing else to do than scroll on my phone. The first thing I do when I woke up was I just grab my phone and then open TikTok or open Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts or like one of those apps. I would basically just scroll for like 2 or 3 hours before even getting out of my bed. And after that I would just put up my computer and play video games, and at the same time I would scroll on my phone because I had no attention span. I couldn't even focus on the games, bro. So I would just be scrolling during being in lobby on Fortnite or just when I had nothing else to do. And I had also no discipline, and this doom scrolling addiction basically ruined my life, bro. I had just so much guilt and shame at the time. When the first thing you do after waking up is scrolling on your phone and not actually making any progress towards any of your goals, then you just feel so shameful and so guilty, and you haven't actually made any progress, and you just waste your time all day, every day. And when this addiction, this cycle keeps on going for years and years, then you can't even get out of this rut, and you're just sad all of the time. Even though this addiction developed when I was at home during the lockdown, I was still addicted after the lockdown, after my school had reopened again. So I would just be at school scrolling still because I hadn't got over my addiction. And after my school day, I would still scroll on my phone and still, play games on my computer. And I had basically no productive life, and I had all of these bad habits, and I was just stuck in this addiction. And fast forward to today, I've replaced most of my doom scrolling with really productive habits. I've been going to the gym, I've been reading books, even meditating, and all of these habits have just compounded and made my life so productive, and I've just been so fulfilled and grateful, and it's just been so fun. So how did I exactly do it? Well, here's the full guide on how you can fully stop your social media addiction and make your life really fun at the same time. Before I wanna get this out of the way, I think the worst thing you can do when trying to get rid of this social media addiction is just fully deleting the apps of your phone, deleting TikTok, deleting Instagram, because you're just gonna download it again and you're not gonna actually see any progress when you just delete it and you expect it to be some miracle cure to your addiction because you're just gonna download it again. Many people say that if you wanna get rid of this addiction, then you should just delete these apps off your phone. However, I think that if you do that, then you're not actually training your willpower, and if you get even a little urge, then you're just gonna download them again. When you wanna get rid of this social media addiction, I think the first thing you have to do is actually identify why you even wanna get rid of this addiction. Maybe it just doesn't let you pursue your passions or your goals or your purpose, or maybe it just wastes your time, or maybe it just doesn't even let you speak to your family members and you're just in your screen all of the time, you're not even social. Whatever these reasons are, just write like 10 of them down. Now when you have 10 of these reasons written down, I would just say that you should form a goal around those reasons. When you have written down that this social media addiction doesn't let you pursue your dreams, like making a business, for example, then as a goal you should write down that you want to start a business, that you want to make money and stuff like that. So I think the first step is kind of forming a goal around the reasons why you even want to quit this addiction. Secondly, you want to build up pressure to keep you from opening social media. Go tell your family, go tell your friends, go tell people that you want to quit social media. That way there's so much pressure against you being on social media that you don't even want to open it anymore. When you also got those 10 reasons written down and you just look at them, and your family members also know that you want to quit this addiction, then there's just no way you even want to open this, and that way you can fully quit it. Thirdly, as I touched on this before a little bit, if you ask ChatGPT or literally any other person other than me, they're just going to say that you should delete, those social media apps like Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat or whatever, that if you delete them, you'll just get rid of this addiction. However, then you'll just, download them again. So I think that if you want to get rid of this addiction, addiction, then you should just kind of quit this addiction in baby steps. Your goal shouldn't be to never open social media again, because that's just not realistic. Instead, you should decrease the amount of time you use social media per day over the course of a few months. Firstly, I would say that write down the amount of time that you usually like daily use social media. Go to your screen time settings and just find out how much you usually scroll on social media daily. Then write it down, like maybe it's 5 hours, maybe it's 12 hours, and just write it down. And then decrease that time over the course of a few months, about like 10 minutes a day. Just keep scrolling like you usually do. However, every time you scroll, just decrease that amount of time you scroll by like 10 or 5 minutes. And if you do that over the course of a few months, then soon enough you'll be basically at zero. I know it doesn't sound the best or the most attractive way you can quit your social media addiction, and because of that, like 90% of people won't even do it. However, bro, if you do it and you actually decrease your time you use social media over the course of a few months, then I promise you, you will quit your addiction. Now I'm gonna talk about the fourth point or thing I have here, which is to find new hobbies. When I first tried to quit social media, nothing was working. However, when I found new hobbies, like going to the gym, for example, the time, I used social media for daily, like cut in half. Because I just didn't have time to use social media when I was at the gym, and even like other hobbies I did, which was like fishing or reading or all of these hobbies. Because of those, I didn't really even have time to scroll on social media. Just find new hobbies, bro. Try new things. Because we as humans always need something to do. We need to focus on a purpose or a mission or something all the time. And because of that, you can't expect to quit your social media addiction or your scrolling addiction by just being in your room all day. Just find new hobbies. Here's a list of hobbies you can try on the screen right now. And I promise you, when you try some of these even, and you just be like, consistent at them, then you won't have time to scroll on social media, and your life will be so fucking fun at the same time, bro. Now the fifth and the last thing in this guide is that you should be okay with failing. Maybe you'll relapse in terms of you being on social media all day one day because you just had the urge, or your friend sent you a funny reel and you just kept on scrolling for hours and hours, and now you were on Instagram for a full day. However, don't destroy your self-image because of it. It's not that bad actually, it's just one relapse. However, when you don't relapse 2 times in a row, 2 days in a row, and you just, once you had a bad day and then you keep on going, keep on trying to get rid of your social media addiction and trying new things and new hobbies and whatever, then you'll soon enough, you don't even feel the urge to go on social media. So don't destroy your self-image because of it, bro. The thing you should do is identify why you even relapsed in the first place and write it down. Maybe you had fear of missing out, your friend sent you a funny video and you just wanted to watch it, however you kept on scrolling. Or maybe you just had the urge to watch half-naked girls on TikTok, or whatever these urges are, just write it down. And the next time you'll be smarter about it and you won't actually relapse that way. And it's just much easier to not relapse and to keep on your dedication or your willpower, and then you don't want to be on social media anymore at all. This way you can focus on yourself and become a better person overall. The thing I want to emphasize here is that you should never relapse 2 days in a row, because if you relapse 2 days in a row, then you'll most likely relapse the 3rd day and 4th day, and you'll just fall back into this rut. When you relapse 1 day and then after that, you shouldn't even consider that this was a relapse. Instead, you should know that there are ups and downs in your journey, and you should just keep on going. You shouldn't give up when you relapse once, because it doesn't sound even so smart, when you really think about it. So yeah, do not relapse 2 days in a row. So yeah, just implement these things in this guide, and after that your life will be so fucking awesome, bro. You'll thank me later. So good luck to you. See you in the next one.